Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. It's me, Majora T, and I am so excited to bring you the Majora T Games of 2023. Give it up everybody to me. I beat 53 goddamn motherfucking video games this year, and I'm proud of it. Cheers. Take a moment. Raise your glasses. However many games you did or did not beat this year, to however many games I did. Victory. Listen, I love video games. I love talking about video games. If you like video games and you like talking about video games, subscribe for more video game talks and the like. I'm going to talk about all the games I beat chronologically by month this year, and then at the end of the video I'm going to distribute some awards that was inspired by Legend of Leo. Go check him out after this video. He's got another good Games of 2023 video. Here's mine. We're going to kick things off in the first month of the year, January. I beat 3 games in January: Dragon Quest VI, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Sonic 3D Blast. So Dragon Quest VI, it was my first time finishing it, and it had always been a hard sell for me. I'd always had a hard time warranting playing it because I had never finished Dragon Quest V. I finished Dragon Quest V sometime last year, I want to say, and it was about time, and I gave up on it so many times. I was just getting frustrated, annoyed, where do I go, things like that. Finally did it, could cross off the list. I used a Primo walkthrough for it. It worked fine. There are things I came to appreciate about the game. I would not say it's my favorite Dragon Quest game by a long stretch. In fact, I have called it my least favorite Dragon Quest game. I think I still stand by that assertion. And considering as I only have Dragon Quest 8 and 11 left, I mean, I don't know, it's not looking great for Dragon Quest 6. Pokemon Legends Arceus, I loved this game. I had a great time, and I know that it was negatively received at one point. I kind of get it, and I also kind of think that that's maybe a quick assertion. I think if you really get into it, there's a lot to love there. Sonic 3D Blast I played many times throughout my life, and I played it on the Switch through the Sega Genesis collection. I just did it for fun, and I had a great time. So that was January. Let's go next to February. In February, I beat Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage 2, Sonic 1, Pokemon Diamond, and Beyond Oasis. So Streets of Rage and Golden Axe, I played those for the Turbo Throwdown. That's a great series I do with Alex, where we pit 2 games up against each other and see which one comes out on top. Sometimes we have to defer to the viewers. And I loved Streets of Rage so much that I went and immediately played Streets of Rage 2 after that. I think you can see where my vote went. Streets of Rage is a great series. It's a great game. And Streets of Rage 2, I don't know that I prefer it, but I do like some of the improvements between generations. So pretty cool for what it is. Sonic 1 I played many times. Don't really feel much like talking about that. But Pokemon Diamond, I think we did this for the map out this year. For the Button Mappers, our podcast channel. That was a terrific map out. The birth of the Italian Pokemon trainer, and I also named my Pokemon Italian names like John Gatti and I don't even know. I don't even know. I always have a great time playing Pokemon with the boys. So great video, worth checking out, but also a great game. I do love Pokemon Diamond quite a bit. Beyond Oasis, it was my first time playing through, and I had done it for the Turbo Throwdown, but I hadn't finished, and then I wanted to do a video with Spencer because we linked up in Arizona, and we both agreed to finish this game, and honestly, it was a good time. It was kind of a surprise. So I enjoy Beyond Oasis. I don't agree with the Zelda comparisons. It's kind of its own entity, but February was a pretty good month for being the shortest month of the year. Beat 6 games, 2 on the same day. Next up is March. March was a bit shorter. I beat Shovel Knight and Vector Man. So Shovel Knight we did for a video for like Indie Month or something like that, and we had talked about doing Shovel Knight for a long time, and I really liked Shovel Knight. In fact, it influenced a lot of my games that I played for the rest of the year. It just gave me the like quality retro feel, and I've beaten it before. I don't think it hit as hard previously, but playing it this time I realized you can actually just kind of breeze through it. I don't think there's time limits if I remember correctly, and it's a good challenge. It's hardy and it never feels too unfair, which sometimes retro games do. So I really appreciated Shovel Knight on all fronts, from a musical front, from a visual front, and just from a gameplay front. So I really respected Shovel Knight. Vector Man, I used to really love this game. In fact, it was one of the games my friend who owned a Sega Genesis growing up had one of like 3. And we played it, and we used to love it, and just be really impressed and think, oh, Vector Man is so cool. That feeling has dissipated over the years. I really don't appreciate Vector Man as much as I used to. And this was a good game, though. I had a good time. It's still very playable, very beatable without having to cheat. So I had a good time playing Vector Man. And we did it for the Turbo Throwdown video. It's a good video, Vector Man 1 versus Vector Man 2. That's the first trimester of the year, January, February, March. In total, I beat 3, 9, 11 games in 3 months. Not bad. All right, we are going into spring. As we are going into spring, I'm going to spring this bucket hat on my head to account for the weather. For the months of April, May, and June, I beat a decent sum of games. Let's start with April. Vector Man 2, Super Thunder Blade, the Resident Evil 4 Remake, Mega Man 1, Mega Man 1 Wily Wars, Mega Man 2, and Mega Man 3. April, what is going on? I'm in a gaming mood. I love this. So clearly, here's the Shovel Knight influence. Mega Man's 1 through 3 and Mega Man 1 and Wily Wars back to back. I just was craving that retro action platformer, beat it in about an hour type of game, and Mega Man suited that need, and quite well, might I say. I think we did a map out for Mega Man 1 at this time. I don't remember exactly. No, I think I had beaten it before. I don't know. Well, whatever. Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 are the classic ones, and honestly, I had beaten 1 and 2 before, but I had done 1 without save states. I had not done 2 without save states. And this, I think, was my first time doing 2 without save states. I did 3 without save states, and I had a good time. It's kind of a rite of passage in a way, so I really appreciate getting into those first 3 NES Mega Man games. I played them on the Legacy Collection. I don't own those cards. You know, who does? Good for you. Vector Man 2, man, for as much as I didn't appreciate Vector Man as much, Vector Man 2 I did not appreciate at all. At all. It was rough. I was cheating my way through that game. That was... whew, you could see why that series died. Damn. Super Thunderblade was not great, but I knew that. I knew it's not a great game. Cheated my way through that one. Resident Evil 4 Remake was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I had a great time. I would love to replay it. And, I mean, there's not much that I really want to add to this discussion other than that, you know, I was really excited for it when I heard it was good. So April was a great month. Next up is May. May 4 games be with me because that's all I beat. I beat Dragon's Lair, Final Fantasy 1 remastered, pixel remaster, Mega Man 4, and Space Ace. So Dragon's Lair and Space Ace are both part of the Dragon's Lair trilogy that is available on modern platforms, and it's based on inputs. It shows you the input on screen, although if you play without the directional pad, you have to infer based on context clues, which is a bit tough for me, so I didn't do that. I had like that transparent D-pad, and it's a really funny game. I really like the outcomes, and it's kind of the vibe it's going for. For as short as Mega Man was, this game was like a 15-minute game, but you got to play it well. That's the only thing. And it's just like kind of watching and being involved in a cartoon, and it's like a 80s cartoon, so it's, you know, pretty, the humor is pretty good. It's not the type of humor you see today, and I just really love Dragon Slayer. Space Ace was good too. I enjoyed Space Ace. I don't think it's quite as good as Dragon Slayer though. Mega Man 4, I honestly can barely remember anything about. I think it just kind of falls short for the first 3 games. The first 3 are kind of epic, and then 4 is just like, okay. So I don't have much to say on Mega Man 4. And then Final Fantasy 1, that is the second Final Fantasy game I've beaten. We did it for a map out video. We did it with Daniel Santos. Great video, worth checking out. And it's a great game. I didn't expect to like Final Fantasy 1 as much as I did. And I did. I thought it was a really good game. And the remaster does a lot of good for the game too. It makes it very accessible. You could play with the fast forward feature enabled, so it makes battles go quicker. You move faster on the map, and yeah, it's pretty welcome, because I think in that first game, it's with like the first Dragon Quest game, it can move slow at points. So any amenities they throw at you are worth using. And I've owned this game before. I've owned it on the PS3, PS2, PS1. PS1. I own the PS1 version of the I don't even know what you call that. The remake of 1 and 2, the compilation. I've tried it before. I did not get far. So it was really nice to just play it on Switch. So good time with Final Fantasy 1 all around. And then for June, I also had 4 games. They were Mega Man 5, Sonic Generations, Mega Man 6, and Castlevania NES. So Mega Man's 5 and 6 were a little better than 4, still a little unremarkable. Although with 6, I think it was cool how they had, it felt kind of like a tournament. I don't know. I mean, I know they all have boss rushes, but this one felt like, I think the concept was like every robot's in like this tournament, and there's like the Wily mix-up or something. Wily's not really in the game. So I liked Mega Man 6. And then I thought 5 was good too. 5 had a couple good songs, a couple good stages. But again, they just don't quite hold a candle to the original 3, which I found a bit sad. Sonic Generations, I think that was my first time beating it. I played the PS3 game. This might be the only game I played on PS3 this year. Did I even play it on PS3? I think I played it on my Xbox, now that I'm thinking about it. Huh. Did I play any PS3 games? Oh, yeah, it doesn't even work on my PS3. It, like, glitched out or something. So I rebought it on Xbox. Yeah, no, I had a good time, and it felt pretty epic. You know, there's some big battles there and the switches between the classic Sonic and the modern Sonic. I think everything works well. There's a reason this is the beloved title of the series for a lot of people, you know, in the modern era. And I understand that on PC it's better, you know, the mods and stuff. But the core game is still really fun on console. So I had a good time with Sonic Generations. And now we are kicking off the Castlevania kick. This year I really went in on Castlevania. I fell off at one point, but actually before I say anything more on that, I was really proud of myself for beating the first 6 Mega Man games, because those are hailed as like the classics. Those are the NES games. So even though I kind of stopped Mega Man at that point, I felt really proud of myself. I had previously hated Mega Man. Hated it. I was so annoyed with like the frustrating elements, but to see I could do every single one of them without exploiting save states, and in around an hour and a half, no, I had a good time. So even though 4, 5, and 6 didn't quite hold a candle, I was appreciative of just the rite of passage, having completed the 6 NES Mega Man games without cheating. So for Castlevania, now is where I start to switch gears. I'm like, okay, I want to do Castlevania games. Castlevania on the NES is the only NES Castlevania I beat this year, and I think it's the only one that I like could beat. Maybe I could do 2, but I think I need the walkthrough. 3 is a little obscure for me, although Brian swears I could do it. But this one, I had a great time doing it. I got caught up on the death battle a little bit, but all in all, I found that this was another rite of passage game, and I didn't use any save states for it. I did it authentically. I may have even done it back to back, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I don't know. Once you get into it, the game has a nice rhythm and a nice flow. So I really like Castlevania this year, and it was a good jumpstart to experiencing more in the series I hadn't fully experienced. Thank you, Castlevania. We are now going into the summer months a little bit further. We started that with June, so off comes the bucket hat. And on comes the shades. Cool. So summertime is a great time for me to get some games out. I beat, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 games between freaking July and September. So in July, I beat Castlevania Bloodlines twice, actually, as Eric and John. Super Castlevania 4, I played this actually 2 versions back to back. One on the Super Nintendo Mini and then one on my Xbox through the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. I beat Castlevania Symphony of the Night on my Xbox, and I got the good ending. I didn't stop at when you finish the first castle, I'll say that. I beat Golden Axe 2 on easy mode, so kind of the cheese ending, but whatever. And then Castlevania Circle of the Moon for the Game Boy Advance through the Game Boy Advance collection. So I really went in. 4 of my 5 games were Castlevania games, one of which I did with Spencer as an archive, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to play another Metroidvania-style Castlevania, a Metroid-style Castlevania, I should say. And that was Circle of the Moon. And Circle of the Moon wasn't quite as good, but it gave me that fix. But also, this is where the rift happens, where you go from Classicvania to the Metroidvania. So I still really like the Classicvanias. Bloodlines is still like an all-time great game for me. And Super Castlevania 4, I gained a new appreciation for that I didn't have before. And so I had a great time playing those games back to back. Symphony of the Night was also great. I really felt it. I really felt how great the progression was, and the turning things on its head is great. You really get to appreciate this game at the halfway point in a way that I think a lot of games that follow the Metroid formula don't allow you to. I feel like a lot of games that follow Metroid or Zelda formula give you like items throughout the entire game, and then you really don't get to use the last couple of items. But in this one, you really get to fully appreciate everything that you've unlocked. So I had a great time with Symphony of the Night. Golden Axe 2, I have nothing to say about. I just did it for the throwdown. I did it for the throwdown, okay? August is a great month as well here. So I'm really excited to talk about these games. I just want to sip my honey coffee first. Honey coffee, yeah, product of H Mart. Excellent. Start off with Blaster Master Zero, Pokemon Snap, 80s Overdrive, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Pokemon Heart Gold, and Virtua Fighter 2, the Genesis version. I loved Blaster Master Zero. In fact, I've played the original version on my 3DS, but never beaten it. And this was the first time I was able to really experience it. This is a remake of that NES version with a few more amenities that allow you to fully enjoy it. So, great time with that. Pokemon Snap. I snapped 61 of them without looking at a walkthrough. I looked at it after and was like, whatever. And I did this one on stream, and then I did a review with my dad. That was a great video. Worth watching. I'll probably watch that again myself at some point. 80s Overdrive is like a throwback to, like, I guess, Outrun and games of that ilk. It didn't fully live up to it in my mind. In fact, it went with the modern game route and gave you, like, unlockables and stuff, which, you know, for what it is, cool. I just thought that I didn't get the same sensation of thrill that I get with those older games. Resident Evil 2 Remake was phenomenal. We loved Resident Evil 4 so much that we were like, oh, let's do Resident Evil 2 Remake. So we did a video on that as well. And it's a great game. Actually, I think the 4 Remake is better, but this one was still great for what it was. It's a different type of Resident Evil than the action shoot-'em-up kind. So the horror was there. Pokemon Heart Gold is always a great game. I loved playing it this year. I think I did like a short clip of my team. I did 6 Pokemon. I didn't do any more than that. So that was fun. And then Virtua Fighter 2 Genesis, I have nothing to say about it. I don't know. I beat the arcade version with one fighter. I don't even remember it. September brought us Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed. I beat the World Tour mode. Gears of War played co-op with Spencer. Dragon Quest VII on 3DS. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. And Ukulele played on the Xbox. So wow, a lot of nostalgia here. I've beaten Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed before. And it's a competent racing game, although it's not my favorite. I do like elements like the unlockables because I like the Sega characters. And yeah, so it's always pretty rewarding playing it and getting more tokens and things like that. Gears of War is a fun co-op game. It's fun to just play with a partner, and in that case, I really felt like I experienced it. So, yeah, I had a great time with Gears of War. Dragon Quest VII on 3DS. I know people like to bash on Dragon Quest VII, but I had a great time replaying it. I enjoyed it a lot the first time, and I enjoyed it a lot this time. I think when people complain, they usually like to talk about the PS1 version. They like to talk about things like, oh, it's a 100-hour game. Listen, I beat this game with 53 hours. 53. I looked at a walkthrough a couple times, but not that many. There were some points that were cryptic, but all in all, I love this game. The job system is really cool. I don't think it's perfect. I think that having to go back to All Trades Abbey is kind of annoying, but from a storyline perspective, some of the best storytelling in a Dragon Quest game even. And I love lauding the series for this ability to tell tales. Dragon Quest VII. Chef's kiss. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts surprised me. I've hated this game previously, but it was about time we did it. I didn't think I could do it, but I ended up beating the game. I got to Grunty's Castle, and yeah, I think I've been critical of this game without having fully played it, and over the years that got better. But when I first came on YouTube was talking about it, I used to think of this game as sacrilege. I'm glad I opened my mind to it a bit. It's still a little tedious building stuff, and I felt like I was building stuff for each Jiggy, but I appreciate it now. As a Banjo-Kazooie fan, I appreciate Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts in a way I haven't previously. And then I really wanted to play Ukulele right after that. Just kind of breeze through it. That was kind of just my personal downtime game and comfort game. So, and we did a throwdown, me and Alex, comparing Nuts and Bolts to Ukulele, seeing which one we thought was better. Nobody voted on it. Spencer, I think, does not count. All right, we're in the last 3 months of the year, so I thought I'd go festive. Guys, I'm sitting next to a batch of kitty litter. My nostrils are like non-existent right now. I am breathing through my mouth. I apologize, but bear with me because we got some great games to close off the year and not so great games. Starting with Tony Hawk. Pro Skater 1. This was the remake version packaged with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Not my favorite game, but I do like Tony Hawk games in general. I grew up playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. I also own the NES cart. NES, and what am I saying? N64 cart. So it was nostalgic to play this, but I think that it fell short in some areas. That being said, we did a good video on the button mappers, worth checking out. Sonic 3D Blast, this was a replay this year. A rare replay. No, it was a Sega replay, but I replayed it nonetheless. For the Turbo Throwdown, me and Alex had a great time. I love Sonic 3D Blast. I played Virtua Fighter 2 Saturn on my Sega Saturn. I did a run as Kagemaru. I don't even know who that is at this point, but the important thing was this was the last Sega Saturn game I had to see credits in order to say I've beaten my entire Sega Saturn library. All 6 games. But I enjoyed it. I think it's better than the Genesis version, obviously. And no, it's a cool fighting game. So, if I ever get more into fighting games, it'll be worth checking out. I guess I was on a fighter kick because I then went and beat Darkstalkers, the Night Warriors. I remember very little about it. I'm just not a fighting game fan. I will have more to say on a fighting game next year, I think. But for this year, these ones are rather forgettable to me. That's October. November brought 2 games beaten, one of which Alex will disagree with, but that's fine. I still will list it. The first one is Field of Magic, XXXY, Chromosomes. And then the next was Sonic Adventure. Listen, I'm calling Sonic Adventure beat for now. It's not that I'm done playing it. It's just that I beat the game as Sonic and Tails. I've never finished as Tails before. So give me props for that, okay? I know I haven't beaten Big the Cat storyline or the freaking robot, but this is progress, and I'm starting to understand how each storyline is different. I really appreciated the Tales playthrough, some of the differences, especially some of the end boss stuff and some of the narrative telling differences. There was a whole area of the game I didn't even know existed, this like Ugandan Knuckles area. That was really cool. So I highly recommend people who've played Sonic Adventure only as Sonic, go back and replay some of those segments as other characters. Feel the Magic was my game for the Wario Month Game Talk, and I was very impressed. I love this game. Yeah, it's a little ooh, but I think that the concepts are novel, and it's really cool. Really cool and really difficult. That end boss segment, if you're looking to beat this game, is going to destroy your freaking touchscreen on your DS. I'm just saying. You're about to just go. I've not forgotten that. So, December is great, man. We got freaking a bunch of Wario. So I beat Wario Land for the Game Boy for the map out. Phenomenal map out. Maybe the best episode we've ever done. For the button mappers, Mario Bros. All-Stars version, Mario Bros. 2 Lost Levels All-Star version, Super Mario Bros. 2 Doki Doki Panic All-Stars version, Pokemon Yellow, and Pac-Man World Repack. Won't say anything about Wario Land. Good game. Mario Bros. 1 through 2 and 2 Lost Levels. I did this with Alex as kind of just a fun little side project, and not for a video per se, although we did do one on the Mario 2 games. And I've beaten these before. Actually, not Lost Levels, but I have beaten Mario 1. No, I've never beaten Mario 2 before. I've gotten to Warp, but I got stuck at Warp. But I think I played the All-Stars version of 1. And 1 doesn't feel great to me. It feels a little stiff. It's still not my favorite, although I still think it's iconic. It gets tricky towards the end, but I appreciate not having to do a cheat to continue. Like, you have to hold the buttons on the NES. You have to press like A, B, start, select or something. And sometimes I mess that up when I game over, so I get frustrated playing that NES version. I appreciate not having to do that in this version. Lost Levels was surprisingly playable. I was shocked. I've never beaten it before, and in this one, I got further than I've ever gotten without save states. At one point, I got super upset and started using save states, but Mario Bros. 2, I really don't like this game that much. It's fine. It's fine, but not my favorite. Pokemon Yellow, oh, such a throwback. I do wish, because I streamed it, and the stream is good, but I was figuring out a lot of the audio things. I kind of wished I had used an emulator for it. I did not. I just used like an online emulator. The music is so good in that game. I wish I had experienced it that way. But one of my favorite moments was the victory lap at Victory Road and beating the Elite Four on my second attempt with the team I had raised from the start of the game. So Pokemon Yellow, oh, another chef's kiss there. Pac-Man World Repack. So I beat Pac-Man World, got the good ending on the PlayStation 1. It's the only ending, I think, because you have to save all the packs in that version in order to beat the game. In this version, you don't, but I did anyway because I'm so used to it. And I loved it. This was just a fun personal project, and I have a lot of love for this game. It was a game my sister got me for a Christmas present, and I never got rid of it. I still have that original copy, along with a couple of Crash games. I don't have those anymore, but sadly, I don't know what the hell happened to them. But Pac-Man World, oof, man, great game, great game. And the repack version does it justice. It's smooth, it plays well, and I'm also going for 100%. I'm at 83 right now, so I'm just finishing up some of the collection elements just on my own. Even when I finish it, I usually don't 100% a game like this, but I'm enjoying it so much that I was like, oh, whatever. I know this well enough. I could try. So we'll see. And that's all the games I beat this year. Wow, so many. So proud. So proud of this community. So listen, we're not done here. We got some awards to give, but before we do, I just want to do some breakdowns. Of these 53, 54 games, I think it's 54, 55. 29, around 29 of them are games that I played for the first time. Games I had not played before. So that's pretty interesting because that means a good 24, 25 of them are replays. So that's pretty telling to me about, like, what do I gravitate towards? I would call it nostalgia, but the only thing that's problematic for that definition is that I'm not trying to relive it. I'm just trying to live it in a new way. That's why nostalgia, I don't really feel nostalgic. I'm not trying to relive my past. I'm trying to experience it differently. Now, I guess people might define it differently, but that's how I define it. Okay, it says 11 here, but it's closer to 13 to 15 of these games are either a remake, remaster, or reboot, or a port. So that's where the 15 comes in. 2 of these are kind of like ports. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is kind of like a port because I played it on the Xbox version, but I really don't count it here. Sonic Adventure as well. Yeah, that's interesting to me that I played so many games that are actually remastered from a previous generation or remade or whatever you want to call it. So take that for what you will. That's approximately 25%, maybe 20% of the games. 4 of these games within this same exact year, I replayed it. I played it again, either on a different version or back to back. And those ones were Castlevania Bloodlines, Castlevania 4, Sonic 3D Blast, and Mega Man 1. So, I don't know, I just find that interesting, like that. I mean, all of those are short games, so like 2 hours or less, about. But I don't know, like the fact that I could like the game that much that I want to replay it afterwards. I don't know, that stands out to me. And then, highlight these yellow. I'm trying to figure out why. Oh, the remakes and remasters. I'll come back to that because that's going to be one of the awards. So here we go to the awards. We're going to give it up. We're going to give it up for every award. I'll hold something up. Cheers to the winners of the year. The 2023 Majora T Award winners. This one's to you. Cue the Hall of Fame music. The game of the year, starting off, is no surprise if you watch the Best of the Button Mappers. I'm not the Best of the Button Mappers. Button Mappers Award Show. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Congratulations. Congrats to Pokemon Legends Arceus. Listen, I freaking love this game. I would replay it. I'm at about that point. I think it's the most novel Pokemon game in a while, and it is a love letter to one of my favorite generations, Gen 4. Not to say I love all the Pokemon in Gen 4, but man, it made me feel like a kid again. I felt like I was wandering the world, and I just got lost in it in a way that I didn't get fully with Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was a little too much for me, but Pokemon Legends Arceus, oh, that hit home. The biggest slur prize, I got to do a Dragon Quest pun in there. The slur prize of the year. There were a couple slur prizes, but the biggest slur prize to me, I want to see if I'm going to rethink this before I say anything. Yep, I'm reconsidering it. It is Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Okay, listen, I thought I wouldn't finish it. I thought I was going to hate it. I was completely wrong, and I got really into it, even though I played it kind of wrong. We had a great episode that came out of it, a great map-out video. We did a Turbo Throwdown that was really good, too. Maybe I should redo the thumbnail so more people click on it. But, no, I didn't expect to have a fondness for it. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a good game. It is a good game. That's crazy to say. I used to think of this game as like a heinous offender, the death of Banjo-Kazooie, which kind of is, but man, if the option was not to get it, I think I'd take it. I think I would take the game. So congrats for being the biggest slur prize. All right, this next one is the Make Master Boot Award. What is the greatest remake, remaster, or reboot that I played this year? Now, here's all the contenders. I'm going to lay them out for you. I'm going to avoid the ports. From the start of the year, Dragon Quest VI on the DS is technically a remake. Resident Evil 4 is a remake. Mega Man 1 Wily Wars is a remake. And if I get some of the nomenclature wrong, forgive me, okay? Final Fantasy 1 is a pixel remaster. Blaster Master Zero is a remake. Resident Evil 2 Remake is a remake. Pokemon Heart Gold is a remake. Dragon Quest 7 is a remake. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 remake. Mario Bros. Super Mario All-Stars 1, 2, and 2 Lost Levels. I guess you could call those pixel remasters. And then Pac-Man World Repack is a remaster. What is the best of those? Or the one that I think deserves the award for the year? It's got to be Blaster Master Zero. Fucking A. Dude, I don't even think I want to play the NES game anymore at this point. I'm just happy with Zero. Zero adds some color, some life. The chiptune style is still there. It does feel a little bit like an indie game. So maybe I'm lying. Maybe I would play the NES game for that feeling. But this one just makes it feel more playable and attainable. Am I going to leave my freaking Retron on overnight to play this game? No way. No way. But it would be cool for like just the experience. But Zero is just a great game. I think they did Sunsoft proud. They did me proud. I'm really happy I got to fully explore the game and just get into it. Like I don't know. I shouldn't love this game by any stretch of the imagination. Controlling a tank and stuff and getting out of the tank. No, but I think it works well. And I think that this remake allows you to fully experience the game like never before. So, way to go, Blaster Master Zero. Okay, what is the best Dragon Quest game I played this year? The Dragon Quest Award is two contenders. It's Dragon Quest 6 or Dragon Quest 7. Obviously, I'm going Dragon Quest 7. Listen, 6 is a little bit of a black sheep, although I think it has its fans. And then I think I would say the exact same thing for 7. I think there are less 7 fans than there are 6, though. 7 is great from a storytelling perspective. I know people are always like gameplay first or whatever, like, oh, you don't go to video games for stories anyway. But if you did, you got Dragon Quest 7. So many great stories. I have memorable anecdotes of multiple towns in this game. I can't forget the All Trades Abbey arc. I can't forget like this area that gets like flooded. Just the fragments in general. I know like some of them are annoying to get. Some of the side characters, Ruff. Oh, the Ruff storyline is terrific. And then this kind of genealogy. There's like this piecing things together about what happened back in time versus, in the present and making those connections. And it's just seeing how that affects characters that you have in the game. The legendary hero, Sir Mervyn. Like I don't know, man. I freaking love Dragon Quest 7. I had a great time. I'm glad I downloaded it. I sent my copy to Tylord. I hope he's enjoying it. I know he's told me before he is, but wow. If you have the patience, if you have 50 hours, try it. Just try it. Give it 10. Give it 10 hours. So, Dragon Quest 7. Best Dragon Quest game of 2023. What is the Memory Lane Award? The game that took a trip down memory lane that made me feel good about the old times. There's so many of them here. But I have to say it's Gears of War. Give it up for Gears. Gears for Tears. So, Gears of War, I played it co-op with friends and just doing it online with Spencer. I mean, there were some hiccups, but we had a great time doing it. We did it like in 2 sessions. Gears of War was great. Took me down memory lane. All right, this next one I'm calling Blockbuster Watch Out Award. So this is for one of the 4 games that I replayed this year. Here you go, Blockbuster. It goes to Mega Man 1. Mega Man 1, I think, is a very quick sit and play. It does have like the robot rush, but it breaks it up into segments. I mean, Mega Man 2 is really good for that as well, but I didn't replay it this year. And Mega Man 1 just feels quicker to me. I think I've done Mega Man 2 quicker, but Mega Man 1 just moves fast. And it is an earned challenge. It's pretty hard. I love the Yellow Devil fight. And then whereas in Mega Man 2, I think there's more parts I don't like. I don't like that robot segment. I don't know. But Mega Man 2 is cool for what it is. This is a Alex Award. So he wanted me to give the It's Fine award. So here it is. What game was just fine this year? If you were listening closely, you might have got it. Super Mario Bros. 2. It's fine. It's just fine. I don't know, man. I get it. People love it. That's fine. It's fine. And that's all it is to me, too. It's just fine. It's just fine. And we got one more word. Oh, no, 2 more words. I'm sorry. I don't want to say any more about Super Mario Bros. 2, though. Listen, if you want to hear my opinions, go check out Turbo Throwdown, the series that we did. We put up Lost Levels with Super Mario Bros. 2. And I gave all my reasons for why I think Super Mario Bros. 2 Lost Levels is more memorable. There's very little that is memorable to me about Super Mario Bros. 2 for a positive reason, except for things like, aesthetic things like the character selection or the slot machines. Anyways, we have a great video on it. Go watch it. What is the Spencer Soundtrack of the Year award? What is the game that I think Spencer would enjoy listening to? No, that's a joke. He doesn't like listening to music, so I thought I'd give him the honorary soundtrack award. NES head Spencer. So this was hard because I would give it to Arceus, but I don't want to repeat awards. So Arceus is out of the running. Can't be given an award. And actually, now that I changed my answer for biggest surprise, I'm going to use that one instead. Super Castlevania 4 has some great music, terrific music, just really mood setting. It doesn't really feel like a rushed platformer like music. It just feels kind of ambient. Dun, 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 dun. And also, like, the Treasure Room music is really good. In general, Castlevanias have really good music, but I think this one was understated. I didn't expect it to be so great. So here you go. Super Castlevania 4. Enjoy Spencer Soundtrack Award. Personally, that's to you. And lastly, it's a Button Mapper special. What's the deal with award? This is the Jerry Seinfeld Award. What's the deal with this game? Why does it suck? And that game to me, it's Vector Man 2. What is the deal with Vector Man 2? Seriously. You had a decent enough premise, a cool-ass character, and then you made this unplayable garbage? Bro, Vector Man 2 was so bad. It starts promising. Like, there's some really cool visual effects, and then it's like, what the hell happened? What happened? This is the nail in the coffin? Did you guys just give up? The soundtrack's not better. It's worse. I like the original one has a Sega Toon soundtrack. So Vector Man 2, I don't know. I don't remember everything about the game, but I remember it sucking. I couldn't get past the 6th stage without having to start using save states and rewinding and stuff. Oh my gosh, Vector Man 2. Did not like it. Roller skating was interesting, but didn't work as well as I wanted it to. And the final boss was like a bee or spider. What? What's the deal with Vector Man 2? So there you go. And that's my games of 2023. Overall, a phenomenal year. Phenomenal. Played so many great games. Very excited to put them in the mental backlog, or clear them from the mental backlog, I should say. So let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about my games of the year? What would you like to see me play next year? What would you like to give your awards to? That could be a fun thing in the comments. What's your game of the year? Surprise of the year? Make Master Boot of the year? What's your best Dragon Quest of the year? Or insert series. What's your Memory Lane award? What's your Blockbuster Watch Out award? What's your It's Fine award? What's your Spencer Soundtrack award? And what's your What's the Deal with award? This is a great year. This video may come out in 2024. That's okay. I don't want to rush to edit it. If I get a chance to get it done today, I will. But Happy New Year, everybody. Enjoy the holidays, and I'll see you with more great gaming content to come. Rock on. Rock on with your slimes on. Say goodbye to Nicholas.